Hello everyone and welcome to season 2 of the Final Chicane with me, Cristinanneboylan. Guys, we're back for season 2. We have done it! We're on to the 2025 season of Formula 1. I mean, the season doesn't start until next month. It's only February now. But that also means that it's close enough that I can start to do my pre-season predictions and talk a bit about the pre-season. So that's what today's episode is going to be. There's going to be a few changes to the Final Chicane this year. Good changes. Not bad changes, not major changes either. And I guess I'll just bring you through the changes throughout the episode. Also, at the end of today's episode, I will have a little favour to ask yous, so if you could stick around, that would be good. I just need a bit of help with my dissertation. But I'm not going to start with the dissertation talk yet, because yous would all have left in 2 minutes. We're just going to get on with today's episode. So this is where we would usually go into the riddle of the week, but we're not going to do that this year, guys. The riddle of the week isn't dead. Okay, the riddle of the week is just going to come every few episodes, so we're going to change it around. We're going to do the Final Chicane brain game, and basically it's going to be a Formula 1 quizzy type thing. It will change every episode just to keep it a bit more fun. So the theme of today's episode, the game that we're going to play, is Formula 1 connections. What will we call that? Formations, maybe. Formula 1 formations. What we're going to do. So I'm going to give you some words related to Formula 1, and all you have to do is try and figure out the connection or the formation between them. There might be more than one, but you just got to figure out the one that I'm thinking of, so you can have as many guesses as you want, and I'll tell you what the formation is that I was thinking of at the end of today's episode. So are you ready? First brain game of the year. Here is your formation. Damon Hill, Max Verstappen, Jacques Villeneuve, and Nico Rosberg. There are 2 connections there. There are 2 things that I'm thinking of that connect all 4 of them men. So all Formula 1 related as well. So what is that? Leave your guesses below and see if you're right by the end of the episode. Might be easy for some, might be hard for some. Everyone has a different level of Formula 1 knowledge, so we're just going to respect everyone and give everyone a chance here. Now, another new thing to the podcast is we usually do our media moments. That is just renamed now. We're still doing our media moments. It's going to be called the XOXO Gossip Grid, though. I've been doing that on TikTok. I actually think I've only done one, even though I'm supposed to do it every Sunday. But there honestly hasn't been that much gossip, surprisingly. And there's for the start of a Formula 1 season, and there has been a lot, so that's actually saying something, because usually there's just like an insane amount. So let's talk about the main Gossip Grid moments of the week. Obviously that's stemming from Gossip Girl, if you don't know. So I will get into my 2025 predictions later on. I think the first thing to talk about is the most recent thing, which was F1 Live 75 or Live F1 75, whatever order, wherever the live goes, I don't know, but there's a live in there somewhere. And the drama that seemed to cause. Personally, guys, I wasn't there. I watched it from home. I watched it on Sky, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun, you know? It wasn't a race. It got a lot of negativity for being too showy, but I think that was the whole purpose of it, was to be showy, because it's a show. You know, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is just the direction that Formula 1 is going in and that we don't want it to go in. And while I get that in some aspects, I think not all parts of the sport has to be so showy. I don't think Formula 1 is too showy right now. Just for an example of how I mean it, you know, everything that happens before the Las Vegas Grand Prix, like literally on the Sunday before the race. If that happened every single race, that would be way too much, and I'd hate that. I find it bearable because it happens just, you know, during Las Vegas, and the drivers hate it, and I like just to watch them cringe at themselves. Like, that's fun to have that as a once-off. And it is just once-off. They don't do that before every race, so it's fine. And everyone was sort of like using that to compare to F175, like, It's like not about the cars, it's not about the racing. But like, I think that's the whole point. Like, it's about the cars, but it's more about getting a bigger audience to watch that wouldn't usually be watching, you know? They don't need to put on the live show for the fans who are going to watch the season no matter what. The live show, it's for the fans, of course it is, but it's also for the people who are just sort of on the edge of Formula One, who might know something, or, you know, I guarantee you there's someone who watched F175 because they saw it. They saw Jack Whitehall was hosting. They're like, oh, that might be interesting. And then later on, there might be a Formula One race on, and they'd be like, oh, that's the thing that I watched the car reveal for. Like, they might be looking at the Sauber being like, oh, I remember seeing that car being revealed and now it's driving around the track, you know? It's the little things that make it important, and that's the marketing, and that's just how it's just the way the world is going, you know? Like, if Formula One don't dip their entire body into the marketing and that area of promotion, then they're just going to fall behind, and Formula One will be, you know, left in the dust. And they can't do that financially. They can't do that. They need the sponsors, they need the support. So I think the harshness and the critique of F175 is not accurate. You know, lots of people liked it, lots of people hated it, which is fine. You're obviously not going to like every single thing. There's some aspects of Formula One that I don't love, but other people love. So you just have to sort of put up with it, because not everything can cater to you, you know? So that was my first rant of the day. There'll probably be a few more, to be honest. But yeah, I think everyone just needs to chill. Like, there's so much that we could be complaining about in Formula One. And this is what I said on TikTok. If we're constantly complaining about everything that Formula One are trying to do, when we actually complain about something that deserves to be complained about, like the FIA, is it going to be taken seriously if you're just complaining about everything, you know? Like a cried wolf sort of situation? Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I think that's just mine. You know, that's just fine. And another thing that happened at F175 was the booing that went on for Christian and Max. I don't love the booing, but on one side it is a sport and not everyone is going to be liked. I think abuse and hate needs to be tackled to, you know, an extreme length. I do think the booing was dramatised a little purely just by the FIA and by Formula One, who had to make statements about it. I mean, there's no point of booing a driver or a team, especially in an arena where it's going to echo. That can be quite hard on the driver, and I do feel for Max for that, because again, he's just a driver. The reason he gets booed is because he's winning, sort of. Like, people have their reasons to dislike or like a driver, but that is the reason that they're getting publicly booed. I don't know how. I feel like I just completely went around myself. I was like, no, the booing's fine, but also we shouldn't boo. That doesn't make any sense, I know. I think, yeah, you probably shouldn't boo, but it doesn't need to be so dramatic. You can find a few videos of Sebastian Vettel being booed out of it during the time he was just a terror. My personal favourite, Sebastian Vettel era on the podium, and obviously Lewis and Max are the other two that would get booed the most. So that happened. I enjoyed the performances though. I thought that there was a good mix of performances tied in with the reveals. I think if there was the amount of music that they had just like without anything to do with Formula One, that might have been a bit a lot, but I think they organised it quite well. I wish Brian Tyler performed the F1 theme. I know who Brian Tyler is because I'm pretty sure he does the music for Now You See Me, which is one of my favourite movies ever. And obviously the F1 theme is incredible as well. It would have been so iconic if he did that. But you need a whole like orchestra. But they could have done that. I feel like they could have done that. I think the last gossip grid that we sort of have to talk about before the season starts is the big, I'd say elephant in the room, but everyone is talking about it because it's so crazy to me, and in a sports level, totalitarian. The FIA penalties for this season. Like getting a penalty for misconduct, you know, punching another driver, anything racial or sexist or discriminatory behaviour, abuse, anything like that, I agree with. They can be penalised. I think it should be a case-to-case penalisation. Like, you don't need to have... Like, I feel like you should be allowed to take it into account, the situation, what was said, blah, 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 and then do the penalty, which I know some people might agree with, some people might not. But one of the rules being if you cause, like moral injury or loss to the FIA, you do it once. So you insult the FIA once, 40k fine. You do it a second time, 80k fine and a 1 month suspended. So a suspension means that if you do it again, that suspension is no longer suspended and you're suspended. Does that make sense? So if you do it the third time, 120,000 euro fine and a 1 month suspension. A 1 month ban from Formula 1. That's psychotic to me. Like, what do you mean if you swear on 3 different occasions you could miss out on a whole month of Formula 1? Or if you criticise the FIA, which you should be allowed to do, in a sport that's as intense as Formula 1, your safety is in the hands of someone else. It's in the hands of an entire other organisation, and you can't even criticise them if you think that they're not taking it, if you think that they're not taking the right steps, or... Like, that is just extreme. The drivers are going to be rightfully angry about this, but they can't do anything about it. And one of my predictions of the season also has to do with this, which I'll get into later. But I think this is one of the worst moves the FIA have made in a very long time. And it's not going to last. There's no way this rule is going to last. But I'm interested. I'm interested to see how this works, honestly, at this point. Still, I think we would all like to know where that money is going, where that 120k fine for swearing on 3 different occasions will go. Is it going straight into the pockets of the FIA, or is it going to be put into the Formula 1 business? Is it going to be put into supporting younger Formula 1 talent? Where is it going? Why haven't we found that out yet? There's always a rant in every single one of my podcast episodes, but this is why I made the podcast, so I could rant, to be fair. So, do you think we should talk about the 2025 predictions, guys? I think it's time, because I'm excited. I wrote these like back in December or January maybe, and then I went over some just yesterday because I was like, girl, no. And most of them are just guesses. Some might be like more dreamy than predictions. But this was fun. I was very, very wrong about all my predictions last year. That was my most recent episode, was reacting to my predictions, which I forgot. I think I definitely absolutely jinxed Visa Cash App or B, especially Daniel. I think I said they would be on the podium. Daniel didn't even make it to the end of the season. So yes, let's start with the most common prediction, the 2025 winner. And I predicted the 2025 winner to be Max Verstappen. I know. Who am I? Honestly though, that might be a bit more of a risky prediction. I just think he will be. But do you want to know my part 2 to this prediction? Is that it will be his last year in Formula 1. And I'm sorry to the Max fans for predicting that, but if my record stands, then it won't happen because I'm always wrong. But I just think Max is getting a little fed up of the FIA, of the changes. There's been a lot of drama with Red Bull recently. You know what? They fired Daniel. Maybe that will be enough for him. But also with a kid on his way, he has a dog now and many cats to take care of. He might want to step away, if even just for a bit. Maybe he needs some time away to assess if he really has that love and passion still for the sport. I know he said he would definitely finish out his contract, but also, like, the sport is completely changing in 2026. That might not be something Max is interested on sticking around for. He might, want to take the year out and see from the sidelines and focus on other things. I might be wrong. That's coming from a place of sort of just a guess, And I wouldn't want that because I love having Max in Formula One. But that's just my prediction. I think there's a bit that Red Bull just need to get together, you know. A lot of drama, a bit of a history on, pissing off other drivers, lost some vital members of staff. Red Bull, I predicted, will not win the Constructors' Championship. I think that's a fair prediction. I don't think they're going to win. I think McLaren will have it again and Ferrari, and it will be like a fight between Mercedes and Red Bull, maybe. It all depends. Like, obviously, I don't know. I like doing the predictions now when I have no idea how the cars are looking or anything like that. I have no idea. Testing is soon, actually. Wait, when is testing next week? I think testing is next week. I predicted Lewis Hamilton will rise again. And this is like the one I hope comes true the most. Like a good Lewis Hamilton era in Ferrari, wins, so many wins. Like maybe a chance at the championship. I feel like it will just be a new refreshed Lewis and he'll be ready. I think Charles will be extremely tough competition for him, for each other. But I think he'll find that dog. Roscoe will start to come out of him again. Staying back to the Red Bull side of things, I think Yuki Tsunoda will change teams. It'll be announced either he'll change mid-season if someone from a higher team gets dropped, or he'll move up to Red Bull. But if he's not moving up to Red Bull, like obviously he's gone. If he's not moving up to Red Bull, he's gone from the Red Bull family. He's good enough to stick around in Formula One. He's good enough to be in one of the top teams. As I said quite a lot last year, I was quite disappointed that he didn't get promoted to Red Bull. I still think that he deserved it and he should be there alongside Max. I'm excited to see how Liam does. Maybe Liam will be absolutely incredible, better than Yuki. And, it's also going to be hard though because people are still going to be comparing Yuki and Liam this year when Liam is driving a Red Bull and Yuki's still in the V-Carb. So, yeah, might be a bit difficult. A difficult year for Yuki, but I hope he changes teams because Red Bull is not the place. Because unfortunately, Red Bull just doesn't seem to be the place for him anymore. Tensions between Max and Liam, I think there will be. Both their characters, we already saw Liam has a bit of an on-track temper, frustration. I think Liam and Yuki would actually be a terrible partnership because there'd just be so much on-track anger there, which we love. But having two teammates like that might be a lot. Yeah, Liam fell out with quite a lot of drivers last year. But I don't know, I sort of like the vibe Liam is bringing to the grid. He just seems to not care. And I respect it. But I do think there will be tensions between him and Max. And usually tensions mean that the drivers are like fighting each other, which is good. Good for Liam. Not good for Max because Liam's obviously a rookie. Bottas. My next prediction. Obviously Bottas is the Mercedes reserve driver. I predict that he will get a race. I don't know why. Obviously I hope nothing bad on any of the current Mercedes drivers. But I'm just predicting that he'll get a race. Like maybe, one of them has a cold. I don't know. I don't want anything bad to happen. I just want to see Bottas in the Mercedes again, to be honest. Maybe like Kimi or George will change teams for the last race. And like Bottas will get a race because then everyone gets to race. But yeah, I predict Bottas will get a race. I predict Kimi Antonelli will podium more than once. Obviously, depending on how the Mercedes is, I don't think, no matter in what car you're in, it's still going to be impressive for a rookie to podium. And yeah, I think he'll podium more than once. And I don't think, because everyone was like, yeah, he's in a Mercedes, of course he will. But no, because I'm not thinking that the Mercedes are going to be faster than Ferrari, Red Bull, or McLaren. There's already 6 drivers ahead that could be on the podium. So that would be nice. I think V-Carb, Hadjar and Yuki. I don't know too much about Hadjar, about his driving. I know from what I've seen him do in free practice and he does look really strong, but I think Yuki will stay ahead. I mean, Yuki will be expected to. Hadjar is a rookie again. Yeah, I think they might be the vibes with Hadjar and Yuki. Ocon and Behrman, I have really good hopes with. I think they'll be a really good pairing. Like, I think the vibes are going to be at Haas this year, and I'm excited to see Ocon on. It fits. Sometimes I still get a surprise looking at, when the team pictures come out and I just forget that that driver is now there, and it just looks so odd to me, but it looks right, Ocon in Haas, and I just think him and Behrman have similar vibes, and they're going to be like a Nico Magnussen, like both going to have their moments. I think Haas are going to be looking good this year, as they have been. I don't think that's going to change. I think Haas will take another step forward from where they are, which, would be strong, I think. Right, so will I do my order? Like McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, Aston Martin and Haas. Like maybe Haas even before Aston Martin, which I feel like is a bit of a, I don't know, I just don't have much faith in Aston Martin these days, even though I want to. I really want to just see like Alonso and Stroll. Like, I just want to see Stroll do well, He gets so much hate. I just want to see him do well. I think moving more towards the back of the grid, I think Alpine are going to be the car that struggles the most this year. Jack Doohan, obviously rookie, Pierre. Only so much you can do with your car. Jack Doohan is probably one of the drivers that I really want to do well. I think he's waited quite a long time for his chance, and now that he has it, there's so much talk about if he deserves it from the team itself. Obviously, the pressure from Franco Colapinto put on to Jack by Alpine is not nice to see, I think. I'm not too happy with how Alpine are playing that, We're all about protecting mental health here, and that goes for drivers' mental health. If you're thinking it, is there really need to put it out there? Like, there's a big difference between constantly mentioning it and talking about, how much you'd want Franco and giving a little nudge to improve. That's okay. Putting a little pressure is okay, but I think they need to be careful not to cross that line this season with Jack. Which brings me on to my next point, which is I think Jack isn't going to see out the season, unfortunately. But I think he will deserve to. I think it will be like an unfair swap, something that I'm not happy with. And again, that's difficult because I really want Franco in Formula One. I really like Franco. But I don't know. I just don't like... I just think that's going to happen. There's gonna be an unfair treatment. Last year it was Logan and Daniel, and this year it's probably gonna be Jack because he's friends with Daniel. That makes sense. I don't want that to happen, but these are just predictions. I think Stake will be better than Alpine this year, but they're still gonna struggle. Again, they have Nico Hülkenberg on the team, already so strong, but only so much he can do in the car, and I'm excited to see how Gabriel does. I have no idea. I really have no idea what these rookies are like because the only place I have seen them is in the free practice ones. So that's it. I watched a bit when Jack was in it. So I've seen Jack race a bit, but that was quite a while. I feel like he hasn't for a while. McLaren wise, I think similar to last year, Lando's going to bring up his game, but I think Oscar will too, and Oscar will definitely become more of a threat to Lando's hopes for a championship. I think McLaren are going to struggle on who to prioritise, on who to give the better strategy to, all that sort of stuff. I mean, realistically, after last year, Lando is going to start. They say, it's a clean slate on who the number one driver is, but I think already Lando's probably a little bit higher, which he should be because he did better last year. But I think and I hope Oscar will be more of a threat because, yeah, it would be nice to see both McLarens up there. What other tensions do I have? I think teammate tension-wise, there'll be tensions between Lewis and Charles, which I don't want. I don't think anyone wants that, but I think there will be because they're both at such a level that there's bound to be. Something would be weird if there wasn't. But I also think there will be conflict and tension between Alex and Carlos because Alex has been so used to being like the big dog on the team And Carlos isn't exactly, because he's, he was put aside quite a lot in Ferrari for Charles. He's been teammates with Max before. He's had a rocky sort of ride, but a good one. And I think Carlos is going to want to finally be that set number one driver. And obviously Alex isn't going to want that. And they're both incredibly friendly drivers as well. And I feel like that's going to be the issue. They're just going to clash or something like that. I actually quite dislike when teammates fight. I enjoy some conflict between like rivals, but teammates, I don't enjoy conflict very much. Yeah, I think Ocon will shine. I do. I think him getting dropped by Alpine is hopefully going to be the best thing to happen to him, because I think he needed that new area in it to grow and to remind everyone what he can do. Because I think he just did get a little swept away with Alpine there in his last couple of years there. Well, I guess I sort of already picked that for Bottas. I was going to say like a past Formula 1 driver will race again this year, but I've already said that for Bottas. So yeah, a past Formula 1 driver will race this year. I think, back to my FIA points earlier, I think there will be a strike of some sort. I don't think it'll be as severe as the one, God, I don't know what year that was in, but when they all had their little sleepover, that infamous picture. I mean, that would be iconic and maybe necessary, but some form of strike, whether it's just a strike from media or, a strike for one day, I don't know, but that might be necessary with how the FIA is going. I think if Max is gone at the end of the year, Christian Horner will be too. I think there's a chance Christian Horner might be gone at the end of the year either way, just because of the amount of drama. And 2026 is sort of just like 2026 is just like a fresh slate. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone. Other team principals, you know what I would like for Susie, because I know that she's busy with F1 Academy, obviously, but what I would do for her to have like Douglas. I wouldn't mind her having like a big role in Mercedes Formula 1. Maybe if Toto ever retires, Susie could take over. That might be fun. I think Yuki will podium. I'll say that one again until it happens. I'll say that every year. Yeah, Yuki will podium. I think there'll be more Red Bull drama. Honestly, I think Drive to Survive might bring a bit of drama, because, I mean, we're going to see perhaps what went down in Singapore with Daniel Ricciardo being fired, and if that's something, because Daniel seems to have cut off Red Bull completely, and all of his team have unfollowed, a lot of his team have unfollowed Christian and his friends, and have unfollowed Christian and Red Bull on social media. Social media is a great tell for these things. That's what I'm nervous about Drive to Survive for. I'm nervous about seeing something sad about Daniel in Singapore. Because he actually hasn't posted, he hasn't shown life since December. And we know that I'm a Daniel girl here. I have some stuff to hang up, hopefully before my next episode. I do have a Daniel thing over there. I got this cute Daniel Enjoy the Butterflies poster for Christmas, though, that I think would go nicely right here. I don't think Daniel is going to show up this season at a race. I want him to, but I think he's just hurt bad. But that also contradicts with my one dream that he would get a seat. I don't think he even wants to be in Formula 1 anymore. I don't even know if I want him to be in Formula 1 anymore. For his mental health, I don't want him to be in Formula 1 anymore. For my mental health, I do. And I gotta put me first. Daniel. Come back. I think the championship will go right to the end. No, I don't think the championship will go right to the end. I think McLaren will win it shortly after summer break. And it will go to the end for the others, but I think McLaren will get it a bit earlier than they did last year. I think there'll be more Max and Lando drama and tension on and off the track, especially on the track. And I'm not going to elaborate. And yeah, I think it will just be like a nice steady season for Charles, George, and Oscar. They'll take a step forward, but not much drama. But then saying that, I also don't think that they're going to be winning the world championship. Yeah. I think Max, I don't know. Do I think Lando will win? It will be close, I think, but I think Max will win the world championship and then Lando again. I don't know. Oh, predictions are hard, guys. What other predictions do I have? I don't know. What predictions do you have? I hope you are going to comment them below because I want to discuss. Oh, actually, another thing that I want to bring to the Final Chicane, a new segment, is like a hot take section. Hot takes, hot laps. Hot laps, hot takes. Hot laps, hot takes. Did I steal that off someone? I might have stealed that off someone. But wouldn't it be fun, yeah? If we do like a voice, so like you could send me a voice memo of your hot take of the week. So if you don't know what a hot take is, like what I said sort of about F175 will be this week's one. I liked it. Hot take. Hot take could be that you didn't like it. Hot take, I think Lando will win the championship. Hot take, I think Max will win. You know, stuff like that. And then I could play it. So if you send in a voice memo, I could play it, your hot take, and then I can discuss your hot take and if I agree with it or not. Or you could just send in a message, whatever you do, just caption it hot take. If you want to send in a voice memo, send that to me on Instagram, the Final Chicane _, or just you can send me the hot take as a message anywhere and let me know if you'd like your username to be included or anything like that, because I think that would be fun, you know. Okay, I don't think I have any more predictions, guys. I just miss Daniel, and I'm sure there's someone watching who rolls my eyes every time I bring up Daniel, but trust, you're in the wrong place if you hate Daniel, because he's our boy over here at the Final Chicane and I miss him. Okay, back to the favour that I wanted to ask you guys. So some of you might know, if I mentioned it before, I am currently writing a dissertation for college. I'm in my last few months of college now, of my communications degree, and I'm doing my dissertation. And of course, I decided to pick F1 for my dissertation. So what I'm doing my dissertation on is basically examining through image repair theory how the FIA handle crisis communications affects fan loyalty. Basically, if the decisions the FIA make on so I'm particularly looking at the death of Joe Bianchi, Crashgate, and Abu Dhabi 2021. So if how the FIA handled those sort of circumstances affect fan loyalty to Formula One. And for that, I am doing a survey, a bit of a questionnaire to find the response on that. I need as many people as I can get. It will take you 5 minutes to do the survey. There is two questions where you can answer long questions if you want. You don't even have to put anything in. You can just leave it blank if you don't want to. And if you don't know, if you're not sure what Crashgate is and you don't want to look it up, you can just press not applicable and that's fine. You don't have to pick. So I would really appreciate it if you could answer that and maybe send it on to other people if you can answer that. I will put the link in the description and the comments. It will be in my bio on Instagram, and I think I'll post a TikTok about it as well. I'm sure you'll be able to find the link in many places, but I would love if you could help me with that. There's a lot to say about the FIA this year, and I think this is your chance too. I don't know if there's I couldn't find a dissertation that's been done on the FIA before. Maybe they're gonna hit me with a 120k fine if I release this, if the results don't look too favourable for them. Maybe they will. Maybe you're all happy with how the FIA handles stuff. Honestly, I'm just interested to see. Every opinion is welcome. So if you could take part in that questionnaire, literally, it will take no more than, it definitely won't take more than 10 minutes. Yeah, I would really, really appreciate that. And yeah, I guess I guess that probably brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you. First of all, if you're back from last year, you guys are the best. And I love you if you've stuck with me. Because I don't know, I can't even listen back to these sometimes because I'm just like, oh, she just keeps talking. And if this is your first episode with me at the Final Chicane, I hope I convinced you maybe to stay along for the rest of the season. We do race reviews and yeah, we just have fun over here. My aim for this podcast is for it to be a positive Formula One place. So I'm going to give my opinions on stuff, but I'm never going to be overly hateful on any drivers or teams because that just sort of sucks. But I'm still going to give my opinion on it, of course. So in the meantime, while waiting for the season to start, you can head over to my TikTok. I post almost daily there, different videos and my reactions to sort of stuff and just different stuff. So my TikTok is cristinanneboylan X if you want to go there, or obviously my Instagram. All of them will be in the description anyway. Well, thank you so much for joining me for episode 1 of season 2 of the Final Chicane, and I will see you for the Australian Grand Prix review.